I've been playing World of Warcraft for over a decade, and I've leveled up every class more than once. And I've never read the quest text, so I have no idea what my own characters have been through. So I've decided to play through every single zone and read every quest. And then I'm going to do my best to share what I've learned with you, just in case you've missed out on the story too. So be warned, this video is going to contain some spoilers. My name is TheKephas, and this is a hero's journey in Warcraft. When the cataclysm broke the world, Loch Modan was one of its biggest victims, as the dwarven-built stone rot dam was destroyed, causing most of the loch to spill out into the wetlands, resulting in massive ecological damage. The mountaineers in the area called upon Ironforge for aid, but as the Council of Three couldn't be bothered to listen, you did. And so you arrive at the gates between Loch Modan and Dun Morogh, and speak to a dwarven pilot named Hammerfoot. He and his close friend Mori were on a mission to collect rare ore for high-grade blast powder when their siege tank broke down. Hammerfoot stayed behind to guard the siege tank, but Mori went on to find the ore, but hasn't returned for days. You follow his footsteps back into Dun Morogh and discover his mauled remains picked clean by mountain scavengers. His final journal entry tells about a run-in he had with a huge bear named Mangleclaw. He managed to drive off the beast, but not before it savagely wounded him. Mangleclaw seems to have returned and finished the job. And just as you put two and two together, Mangleclaw returns yet again. But this time, it's one too many, as you fare much better in your fight with the beastly bear. You bring Mori's journal and one of the bear's claws to Hammerfoot, and the dwarf grieves the loss of his close friend, but thanks you for your heroic deed. He sends you into Loch Modan to deliver a status report to the mountaineers at the guard station in the Valley of Kings. Most of the Ironforge reserve have been called up to the Alliance front, leaving a small fraction to handle the defense of Loch Modan. So this is the worst possible time for a massive Trogg infestation, but they have dug their way out of the caves and are coming up in droves. So you assault the Troggs roaming the mountains, putting pressure on them before they have a chance to invade, and collect their stone teeth as proof. You eventually come across the cave the Troggs are crawling out of, and fight your way deep inside until you come across a powerful Trogg named Gralmug, the chieftain of the local Troggs. Though larger than the average Trogg and more adept with the elements, Gralmug is no match for your might. You've dealt a devastating blow to the Troggs, allowing the mountaineers to easily clean up the infestation. Once again, you are asked to deliver a status report, this time to the dwarven town of Thelsamar. And you seem to have arrived just in time, as the town of Thelsamar has no shortage of things needing to be done. For starters, gnolls have popped up just west of town, which is particularly strange because gnolls aren't indigenous to Loch Modan. But there's no time to be pondering these things. A threat is a threat, and these gnolls need to be cleared out. As do the forest spiders. They are practically dwarf size, and that's just creepy. And there's a rule in Thelsamar. If you want to eat, you've got to work for it. And Vidra, who works in the inn, has agreed to make you some of her famous blood sausage if you gather some bear rumps. Near the Explorers League HQ, you notice a wanted poster for Goric Gruzzledrout, a dark iron spy who stole some Explorers League documents. He was last spotted south, wanted, dead or alive. You manage to track him down inside Grizzlepaw Ridge, and the dark iron assures you that you will not leave the cave alive, and causes you to enter a drunken haze. But his tricks aren't enough. In the end, it's him who will not leave the cave alive. With Goric dead, you find one of the Explorers League documents, and fortunately, you find Goric's stash list still in his possession, which reveals the location of the remaining 5 documents, scattered all over Loch Modan. With this, you are easily able to gather up the remaining documents, and return them, along with the bounty, to the Explorers League. With most of the chores in Thelsamar taken care of, you head north to Algaz Station to check in on Mountaineer Stormspike. This time, it's kobolds causing trouble, and one in particular has been a bit smarter than usual. He's come up with a crafty way to steal supplies, and he's been stirring up the rest of them. You find him hiding in a nearby cave to the south, and bring the so-called commander to his end. You've taken out the smart one, but there are still tons of dumb ones who have taken over the Silver Stream mine and set up camps all around it. So you start with the camps, taking out any surveyors and foragers you find, and after clearing out the camps, you make your way inside the mines. The mines are a horrific sight, as the kobolds have discovered a way to use geomancy to enslave the trogs, which makes sense because trogs are creatures of the earth. But this is deeply concerning, because dwarves were also once children of the earth, and while no dwarf has been enslaved yet, the possibility is terrifying. So you take out the geomancers enslaving the trogs, and gather up the stolen miners' gear. Deep in the mine, you find the foreman behind this whole operation, and unexpectedly, it's a gnoll. An aggressive one at that, as he attacks you on sight, and things begin to heat up as the angry gnoll throws his lantern on the ground, causing flames to rise up all around you. But like the flames, the battle comes to a quick end, as you deliver the final blow and end the gnoll's life. The Silver Stream mine has been purged, and the kobolds won't be practicing their geomancy anymore. But the fact remains, trogs, gnolls, and kobolds are apparently working together. But back at Felsamar, Cadrel has figured out that the gnolls have come up from the wetlands, because they've brought friends. Yep, Murlocs have joined the party, completing a full set of Azerothian pests. Canary Caskshot is an expert at hunting Murlocs, and she says that killing them is pointless because their numbers are just too many. But there may be a way to disrupt their coordination with the other creatures. Murlocs produce an odor from their glands, which often is used as bait to attract them. And using some of these glands, Caskshot is able to concoct a scent pheromone. Disguised as a bush, you sneak up on the Murloc camp where the Murlocs are meeting with a kobold and a gnoll representative. To the gnoll's horror, the Murlocs begin to kill him as the kobold runs away in fear, tearing their tenuous pact asunder. With the band of creatures broken up, you are given a new task. Huldar, Sayan, and Mirren are delivering a cart of explosives to the Ironbrand excavation site to the east, and you are sent to help them. You find Huldar and Mirren standing by the cart along the path, and Huldar explains that Sayan has turned out to be a Dark Iron sympathizer, and they are planning to ambush and steal the explosives for themselves. Mirren runs ahead to get help, and you stay behind to protect Huldar and the cart. And just as predicted, the Dark Irons attempt to ambush, but you fight them off. Sayan arrives, fighting alongside the Dark Irons, and you reward him for his disloyalty by ending his life. With the Dark Irons dealt with, Huldar and Mirren will be able to deliver the explosives to the compound, but unfortunately, the compound has been overrun with more trogs. Magmar Felhue says that the trogs are holding some kind of idol that causes them to go berserk, and asks you to head into the excavation site to retrieve a few for research. And the trogs gladly hand them over to you, in a way that only trogs can. And while you're there, Ironbrand himself has asked you to check in on his prized artifacts to make sure that the trogs haven't destroyed them. Fortunately, the artifacts are still intact, and Magmar has some shiny idols to research. You've impressed him, and he encourages you to check out the Hunter's Lodge to the east. They may have some work for you. Sure enough, the Farstrider Lodge has plenty of things for you to do, mostly involving hunting and gathering some of the wildlife in the area. You hunt bobcats, giant wasps, eagles, foxes, and boars. This all leads to one final hunt, and the target is a bear named Ol Suti, who showed up about a year ago. None of the other hunters who have attempted were successful, including Daryl, a cocky young hunter who only managed to gain a nasty scar over his eye. So you take on the challenge and track down Ol Suti in his den. You kill the beast and return his head to the lodge, making sure to rub it in Daryl's snide face before handing it over. Bengals Blastenheimer is an engineer responsible for inventing the Sky Strider, the very first flying Mechanostrider. His lab was located inside Ironwing Cavern, where he built the Sky Strider. But just as he was putting on the finishing touches, his other mechanical creatures became hostile. His mistake was programming them with a personality, causing them to become jealous of the Sky Strider. Bangles was forced to abandon his lab, leaving the Sky Strider and his other creations behind. So he asks you to find his lab, fight your way through countless hostile bird bots, and recover the super mechanical robo widget from the original Sky Strider. With this key component retrieved, Bangles will be able to finish developing Sky Strider 2.0 and would like his son Ando to pilot it. But Ando has been acting extremely moody. Something's bothering him, and he won't tell his father what it is. So Bangles asks you to find out what's up. You find Ando at the edge of the Loch, standing beside a crashed flying machine, and fixing his gaze to the northwest. He says that he has no interest in his father's flying machine. He's angry about the destruction of the dam and the devastation of the Loch, because the Twilight's Hammer clan are the ones responsible for releasing Deathwing and bringing about the cataclysm, and they've been camping just north of here ever since. Ando feels that if there was any justice in the world, they would not be allowed to camp in Loch Modan. The young gnome may come across as a bratty teenager, but he's not wrong. Something does need to be done about the Twilight's Hammer presence in Loch Modan. So you storm the camp, taking down every cultist in your path, and at the center of camp, you discover a Twilight Landshaper and destroy it. Ando, inspired by your heroic act, agrees to return to his father to pilot the Sky Strider, and he tells you that the Mountaineers are dealing with even more cultists to the east. The Ogre cultists have taken over the northeastern end of Loch Modan, and are attempting to build a fortress. So you run into Mogra's stronghold and destroy the Ogre fanatics. But the Earthbenders have been attempting to pull Elementium from the ground to be used in constructing their fortress. But you stop them and pull out the small spikes before they can be of use. At the far end of the fortress, you find the main mine, and deep inside, you discover Gorkresh, a massive ogre, nearly 3 times the size of the others. He's the leader of this batch of cultists. His size is intimidating, but his strength does not match it, and he falls before you as quickly as the others. You may not have stopped the cult entirely, but you have dealt a huge blow, especially to the presence in Loch Modan. And this has earned you the reputation of a hero in Thelsamar. And one of your biggest fans, Ando, has returned, piloting the Sky Strider, and offers to give you a ride back to Algaz Station. The Loch has surely been devastated by the breaking of the dam, but all of that water had to go somewhere, resulting in the wetlands being flooded. Mountaineer Stormspike sent some fellow Mountaineers to bring supplies to the dwarves down there, but they haven't been heard from in a good while. You've done what you can in Loch Modan, and with the devastation spreading to the wetlands, you continue your journey there to check on the Mountaineers and provide help in any way that you can. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button, and feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. You can also subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at TheKephas to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, this is Kephas, until next time.